Well, it's taken me a while to figure this out, but I think I've come up with the scheme for the boot lid. And it's only been really within the last few months I've sort of finalised this. If you remember, this boot lid's fiberglass. I have got a steel one, but saves a bit of weight, about 5 kilos weight saving on the fiberglass one. And because I'm going with different themes with each panel, the boot lid, I wasn't sure what to do. I've done enough Alan Moffat and John Goss stuff, and I was going to run the traditional wing that's on the pedestals. I've actually got one, it's up on the roof somewhere, and I was actually going to remake it out of carbon fibre, which I still may do in the future, but I just wasn't 100% happy. The other thing that was always in the back of my mind was because I'm going through all the race cars that I followed when I was younger, the ones that inspired me and the ones that I loved and everything. I really wanted to give Dick Johnson his spot in this car. Originally, I thought about doing a bonnet scoop from the Cobras on the XA bonnet, but I just didn't like the look of them, so the reverse cowl type scoop with a number 17 on it. I'll put a pickup, but I didn't think that would look right, so that's why I went with the John Goss sports sedan scoop. So I thought the boot lid, and the earlier cars that Johnson run were with the pedestal wing. He never ran XAs, he ran XBs, a couple of XBs I think, and then he moved on to XCs. They were quite boring boot lids, and I think they just had the Brian Burt dealership, Ford dealership thing on it. That was about it. And the other thing is I never really sort of followed Johnson till his last XC, which was the last time they raced the XCs, I think in '79. That was quite a good looking car. I think he ended up binning it part way through the race, didn't finish, but it was a good looking car, and I think in the last few years it's still around. I think it just got sold at auction too, so that was a few years ago. But a good looking car, and it was the first of his true blue steel tube paint schemes that carried on into the XD and then into the Greens Tough XEs, and that's where I really remember him. I do vaguely remember him in the '79 race on the XC, but he wasn't there for very long. So I decided, okay, I'm going to do an XC rear boot lid style with a spoiler. Now, I've never liked those spoilers, those rear spoilers on the XC. Mainly, after thinking about it for a while, mainly because of the side bits that attach to the quarter panels. I just don't think they look good. I don't know. Everybody's got their tastes in that, but I just thought it was just looked a bit droopy. I don't know. But I've always liked for lack of better word, the ducktail spoilers of the time in the '70s. You know, on your RS 3100 Capris, Cologne Capris and stuff like that. The Porsches, the ducktails they ran, and even the Toronto SLR 5000s. Really like that style, the big air dam style. So I thought, the other thing I thought, well, when it comes together, sorry if I'm rambling a bit, but I'm trying to explain this the best way I can, is that the quarter panels I've got here didn't have that wraparound spoiler shape. So I thought, well, I can just run a ducktail, and it's just going to be for this, for the boot lid, for the XC. I had thought about running the Moffat Jackie X Moffat one, but I've already done a fair bit of Moffat, and like I said, I wanted to do Johnson. So bit of a tribute to Dickie Johnson. He gave us a lot of entertainment in those early years and throughout, and he's still providing it. So yeah, I really wanted to do that. Now, I could have just gone out and bought one, and I did try. I've been looking for probably 4 or 5 months, maybe even longer. I hadn't made a firm decision, but I just thought I'll try and get one, and I've done some research trying to find one. The mob that Super Roof Falcon Spares say they have them, but they get them made by some other joker, and that guy didn't want to make one, and so it just kept going around in circles. So, and it was about $400. So the other thing is that I even looked at the Mad Max rear ducktail spoiler, but that one's a different shape, so it's not really an XC one, and it's more one that should be that sort of is blended into the boot lid. I wanted a bolt-on one. The other thing is, I thought, well, I'm doing all this carbon fibre and fiberglass and whatnot. I thought, well, shit, I'll make my own. And they're relatively, the profile is relatively straightforward. I don't know if you see that, but I've got a template here. It's basically flat, 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 and a little bit of curve, couple of little curves here and there. Nothing drastic. So I thought, yeah, okay, I can do this, but everything's not as it seems. This boot lid has got more compound curves than bloody, you know, so it's not flat. So you can see how much, I mean, there's probably 15-20 mil on each side there. Same here, and even the back of it is curved. Everywhere's curved. Everywhere's curved. It goes, and when you have a close look at pictures and that, the spoiler follows the curve. So this was a bit of a pain in the bum. I showed you in the last video of the jig I made up. I've sanded and filled that, a lot of filler, almost a bloody 3 kilo tin of bog on it, sanding, trying to get the rough shape. So yeah, so that's where I'm at with this spoiler. And the other thing was, I changed the profile. I thought, well, if I'm making it, let's just make it, am I shaking that camera anyway? Let's just make it the way I want to, but I'll get onto that in a second. So yeah, just initially to look at, you think, oh yeah, it's just pretty well straight, but it's not. It follows the profile of the boot lid, and it's curved. I mean, even here you can see with the straight edge on it how much curve it's running. So, and that's a profile. So it's a pretty straightforward profile. It's pretty flat on most of the surfaces, but those surfaces got compound curves. And these are the bits I don't like. So I didn't want to run these bits. So it's just going to be basically this middle section. Now, so just using a bit of maths and a bit of measuring, I got a rough template of the profile. So that's the profile, roughly, of the stock one. It's not dead accurate, but I think it's pretty close. Now, I thought, well, if I'm going to make this, go to all the trouble, I may as well make it functional and give it a bit more of a kick. So I messed around, and basically what I come up with is this one, which if I just put this one on top, you can see, basically I just added an inch to the top. So profile's all the same, except I just added an inch. I thought, what the hell? Make it more functional. It looks stock at first appearance, but it's got a bit more of a kick. And because it's missing the side parts, it was pretty easy to do. So yeah, it's going to be different anyway. But I don't know how my brain works sometimes. But that was my reasoning. So you can basically see that's the profile difference. And yeah, took me a long time to make the jig up, but got there. And you can see where is sorry, there's the profile. And you can even see, even along here, it's not flat. So nowhere's flat, nowhere's straight. So that's going to be the profile. There's the standard one. That's the standard profile there. So you can see it's just basically an inch. Okay. So we'll see how we go. Bit of work, but I've come this far. All right. Well, I've got the jig together, the mould. It's a 3-part mould. Ends come off, it splits in half down the middle. The other end comes off, and I've covered it in it's a Teflon coated wrap. It's good for straight bits like this, but yeah, you wouldn't want to wrap it around difficult compound curves or anything, because it's quite stiff. So yeah, it seems to be reasonably easy to use if you keep it basic. But yeah, so we'll get ready for the fiberglass. Okay, the glass is in. I did mean to time lapse this, but I just forgot because, I don't know, there's so much organising going on, getting all your bits cut, getting the resin and everything ready to do this, because you're under the pump for time. I just forgot to set up the camera, but yeah, so give that a couple of days, and hopefully it comes out all right. All right. Well, she's out of the mould, and I've given it a very rough trim. And when I say rough, I just, you know, it's still got a lot of work along the edges, but I've got to make a base for the, so I've got to make a base that sits on underneath, and then it'll be sort of resin together. It's come up, the shape's not too bad. Like I said, it's still pretty rough. Those blocks of timber are just in there just to, she just didn't quite want to follow the line along here, so I just put a couple of blocks of timber, just using a hot glue gun, just to hold it into shape for me. That'll be fixed up. And you can see this black line follows basically this curve. So the black line follows the curve. Not sure what I'm going to do there yet. The other thing is, yeah, it's fiberglass. It will be. I'll be putting a couple of layers of carbon fibre over it. Basically the same way I've done the scoop. I'm just going to drape, sand it all back, get it the right shape, get the base on, get the attachment points made so it bolts to the boot lid. Get all that done, then drape carbon fibre across it for the final shape. Once I got the final shape, so this edge is still a bit too sharp. All the edges are a bit too sharp. Need to smooth them all off, fix any imperfections, and yeah, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Does look tall, but that was the sort of look I'm going for. Where's the standard profile? The standard profile, basically that's roughly the standard profile there. So you can see it's got a bit of extra in it, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Pretty happy with the way it demolded and everything. That Teflon seems to work pretty good. Okay, keep at it. I'll keep at it. Well, I got the spoiler laid in carbon, or carbon laid over the top of the fiberglass. You probably see a lot of imperfections. I had a bit of a few dramas with it. A lot of imperfections, a lot of spots I'm not happy with. Got a few bubbles in it. Had to sand through those, especially along this edge here. Laying the carbon around here was a nightmare. I clear coated it with a matte clear, and there's a few runs in it, but that's no drama because this is going to be sanded anyway, and I'll go through the same process I went with the hood scoop, and do a little bit of a patina in the carbon, because this is just going to be the same as the hood scoop. It's going to have just the carbon showing through in a few spots, so it wasn't critical. I did want to get it as good as I could, which I didn't get, in case I ever wanted to get rid of the paint. But it's still, like I said, the patina process and then another coat of clear over the top, and that was going to be it. It's also going to weigh a fair bit more than I wanted. It's actually sitting at 5 kilos now. This spoiler, it's pretty solid. So in the future, because I'm not even sure I'm going to be happy with this look. I've put a shitload of work into this, and I'm still not even sure I'm going to even like the look of it. So that won't happen until I've got the car all mocked up, but which is in another 1 or 2 videos. I'm going to do that as soon as I get this boot lid sorted and the paint done and everything. I'm going to do a mock-up of all the panels on the car and just see what this clusterfuck of a fucking paint job's going to look like. Anyway, so the bonus is that if I really do like this look, way down the path in the future, I'll use this as a mold, or as a plug, and do a molder off it, and then I'll make another one, but I'll use just carbon fibre and vacuum bag it and do the whole trick. And I reckon instead of it being 5 kilos, I reckon it'll be like 1.5, should be under 2 kilos, so and still be as strong. The fit is really good. I'm really happy with that. It follows the lines really nice. I'll give you a quick walk around. So as you can see, it follows the line pretty good, and fits quite nice. It's got a bit of a gap here because I think there's a dip here, but other than that, it fits quite nice and snug on it. So, and you can see there's a lot of imperfections in that car. There's a little bit of waviness in it, which I'm not too concerned about. But I got rub throughs here where I've rubbed through the carbon. But the good thing with the clear coat, I've really laid that clear coat on thick, so I can rub it back, and it acts as like a little bit of a filler. You can see that's not a dip. That's just like where the weave has just slightly gone out of shape. Really difficult stuff to work with, carbon. It doesn't want to follow curves, and you can see here I've got some bubbles. You can just see it. I've actually filled that and then airbrushed it underneath this clear coat, so it's black. But other than that, and you can see it all the way along here, I've got bubbles all the way along. But other than that, it's not too bad. I mean, I'm just a fucking amateur, so and here it's all a bit wavy and that. But yeah, look, you know, if you look at some of the really expensive stuff, they do a great job of getting it perfect. But if you look at actual race car parts, they're pretty rough, especially with the weave of the carbon and everything. They're only concerned about the strength. They're not really concerned about the look. So in that regard, I'm not. And here's the bottom. So this bottom follows the boot surface nicely. Just got a couple of holes drilled in there so air doesn't get in there and expand and contract. Yeah, there's a little bit of filler along here. I don't know how that'll go. It's glassed in, but still, it's not good. But that was just a little bit of extra work before the carbon went on. I've got 3 straps, aluminium straps, which are rivet around both ends. And what I'll have to do is drill a couple of holes through the glass and through the aluminium, and I'll put some riv nuts. I got one there, one in the middle, and another one on the end there. So yeah, the bottoms come up well, and yeah, it's and you can see how much of a curve, just sitting on the workbench there. Looks straight, but nothing's straight on this. So you can just see the light poking through, and how much of a curve, just to try and follow the boot lid along and that. So, but yeah, now I've got the right shape. Should be all right to take a mold off that. But like I said, if I was ever going to stick with this, I'm going to make another one, but probably in 6 months or so, years time. And I'll probably do the same with the bonnet scoop as well, remake that, because that's, I think they only weighed about 1.5 kilos. So, but I could get that a lot lighter, just using pure carbon. And the bonnet scoop as well, I can use it, a plug for a mold. So yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with it. And yeah, I'll wrap this video up now. I just got away from, came back from a weekend away up at Byron and Nimbin and Yamba, and yeah, that was all right. Byron's a bit of a council wanting a handout for everything. Fucking $5 an hour just to park on the street. Unbelievable. But anyway, enough bitching about that. Yeah, so I'll get the paint job done on this and get the lid prepped for paint, because there's a fair bit of work to do on that. Even though it's brand new fiberglass, it needs a bit of work, and it needs a bit of shaping and just a general tidy up. And then I'll get the Dick Johnson patina paint job done on this. And like I said, I'm not 100% sure I'm going to stick with this. And I know it's pretty controversial, especially on a coupe, but it certainly is different, and we'll see how we go. Like I said, not making these side bits. Don't want these going around, folding around the side of the car. Don't like that look. Yeah, reasonably happy with it. So, should have the paintwork done in a couple of weeks, and we'll see what it looks like. Thanks for following, guys. Thanks for sticking with this video. It's a bit of a long one, but it was a bit of a process making this. So, yeah. It's not perfect. It's way from perfect, actually. But like I said, I'll remake it if I'm going to stick with it. So, cheers.